famous Class-Icks.
Or made them better.
So, oh, you're doing the symmetrical.
The symmetry tool.
Yeah.
Because I wanted it to be almost perfectly symmetrical, and I know I can't do that on my lonesome.
Freehand.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
That's the word for it.
You're lonesome. I'm gonna start using that.
A lonesome hands.
No, I appreciate that though.
So I did Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Mm-hmm.
And I start with the deer's skull, just to get the outline, and then you can see I added the ears in.
Yeah.
I basically built them like anatomy. I drew the skull, and then I built out from that what I needed.
Yeah, the meat goes on the skull.
Yeah. I did actually add an extra spike to the antlers to make them look a little more like hands.
Yeah, grabby antlers.
Yeah.
I do like the way it's shaped up. I noticed that you got rid of the black part. There was a half black, half white situation?
Oh yeah, once I had it. I was mostly checking that the symmetry tool was working the way I intended.
Fair enough.
But once that was assured, I could just switch to a white background so I could see the black outline better.
Yeah. Knowing what you're drawing is helpful.
Yeah.
Oh.
I should have just left it on for a little bit because I realized, I want to redraw that on the other side and mess up the symmetry. But some of it's not symmetrical, like that.
So you might have just taken the half that you inked anyway to then flip.
Yeah, but I was able to ink it because I had the...
Right.
And I knew it would work because I already did the symmetry tool.
Right.
I regret none of my actions.
No, I understand it. I'm
you can also see on the left, my capture is messed up, and there's like a remnant on that side of the screen that's there for the rest of it because I didn't restart the program.
That's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
No one judges.
Put on the antler bumps down by the base.
Mm-hmm. Gotta have them antler bumps.
Gotta have the antler bumps. Little, because it's alive, I put more like fur on the side of its face.
It's just the nose that's peeled.
Yeah.
I assume that's not the only thing that makes it red, though.
Well, what I did was I want to give it away because we haven't seen the red yet.
Okay, so we'll see. We'll see. I like what you're doing with the eyes, though.
Yeah. I looked at actual reindeer eyes and then just like eviled them up a little bit.
Eviled them up.
Yeah, because they do have like they're the kind of herbivores with just like the slit iris, but I changed the angle
like
of it.
A goat or an octopus are the two examples my brain came up with.
Well, those have like the two bulbs on it too. That's more like an 8 iris. These are just slit.
Yeah.
So there's a slight difference, but I eviled them up.
That was brown.
Mm-hmm. Putting on the fur.
Mm-hmm.
No boots, just the fur.
Aw. I'm entertained by the little slice of sketch.
Just left, yeah.
Because I keep, like, deleting it in my brain.
Slightly different fur.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, you just start ignoring it.
Yeah.
I was able to get it done despite that slice, so.
Yeah. No, you did it. You did it, and that's what matters.
Yeah. Listen, things don't work perfectly. You just have to work around them.
So, was this Rudolph not invited to the reindeer games because they couldn't stand to look at him?
I think this Rudolph's red nose mutation is debilitating. Because the way I have it, you can sort of see how I have like the skull being shown underneath. The red is exploding out of the front of his face. So he is in constant pain.
So he can't play games. So they're actually like, listen, for your own good, you cannot play the games with us.
Well, he might be hurting people accidentally, so maybe.
Exploding at people.
Yeah.
That's fair enough. All of the reindeer just are missing chunks of face.
Yeah.
Or butts, depending on which way they're facing.
Yeah.
Just de-butted vixen.
Yeah. He feels very cast aside, but at the same time, people are dying.
Yeah. Read the room, yeah.
I didn't want to color it in again. I knew it was the same, so I just boop.
I mean, it's smart.
And then slightly different color.
Giving it depth.
Yeah.
No, I enjoy it. I
actually didn't do that much heavy shading on this one.
No?
But I did do some highlights after adding the nose glow, which I thought turned out very nice.
We'll see it soon.
Draw some basic of the antler stripes.
Key extra.
Making sure it goes through all the knobbies.
See, those are details I just didn't realize about deer, I think. Reindeer or otherwise.
Well, reindeer is like, this is to be after the One of the ideas that I didn't do because it would have taken a lot longer is there's a thing that reindeer do, because usually reindeer horns you'll typically see they're very velvety at certain times.
Yeah.
And then they go through a phase called the red velvet, where the skin over their horns just peels away like a banana, and they look like horrible eldritch
'Cause it's
creatures
red.
with red bloody flesh hanging from their skulls.
Yeah.
I did not have the time or patience to do that, but I did want to make them look like hands.
The velveting. Whew. Explosion.
Yeah.
I see now. The explosion.
And I just explode it more.
Mm-hmm.
And I erase where it would be covered up by his flesh that is melting away.
Mm.
Found a good amount of opacity for it. Put on the darks.
I'm not sure if this is scary or more sad.
Well, with the backstory, it's sad, but that's a lot of monsters. Like,
yeah, that's true.
But like, if you're in front of Rudolph and he's melting off your flesh with his nose while approaching you,
It doesn't matter his backstory at
Yeah.
that point. Yeah, okay, I hear you. I hear
you know, I made you cookies. He's still melting your flesh. It's horrifying for you.
you. Aw is not the right response. That was the wrong response. But it's the one
we
I
feel
had.
for the monsters. Empathy for monsters is not a bad thing.
No.
I had to figure out where the glare would hit,
Yeah.
the redness, and then just sort of smoosh it a little bit because it's hitting like non-reflective surfaces.
Yeah. Being absorbed into the fur.
Get the background
go.
right. There we go. Yeah, I knew I had it right there. And that is it. That is Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer going through a very bad time.
Hmm. So is it constantly radiating out, or is it just one big blast at a time?
I don't think he has control anymore. I think the more he uses it, the more it just leaks out, and he's on the trend to it just exploding his head now.
Mm.
What did you draw?
The Grinch.
Okay, I see a possum skull.
So I was looking at the lyrics of the song, you know, you're a mean one, Mr. And I got stuck on the cuddly as a cactus. And there's stuff about, you know, charming as an eel.
There's spiders in your soul.
Yeah. And so there's all these descriptions, all these like really, really horrible descriptions of him that don't necessarily line up with each other. Like, you couldn't really draw what it's describing. But I decided to try anyway.
Did you put stink, stank, and stunk lines on him?
No, but I think he looks pretty stinky by the end of it. And a lot of
He's
them.
very prickly.
He's very prickly.
Prickly as a cactus.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he's terrible. He looks happy, though.
This is why the charming as an eel. They're always smiling.
You know? Yeah. I wanted to make it very much an eel mouth. And there's
you do the heart on the outside.
Mm-hmm. His heart that grew 3 sizes. Also, there's a line about a purple bruise heart, like, of a tomato. And I actually tried to look up, was a bruise, like a purple bruise in a tomato, and that's not a thing. It's not a thing. But
It's a lyric you can write and sing.
Right. So I did this. I made... he's terrible. But I enjoy him. And he skitters. I wanted him to have 8 legs total. So his arms are, like, big enough that if he needed to, he could kind of climb with them and drag himself, and otherwise he has the 6 skittering legs behind him. Middle of him. He's almost how a spider actually works, but then not. Because it's not on the bulbous part, but it's also not quite...
I'm very interested to see how the colors that you started with come together.
Starting with the bright yellow.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, because he's still going to be green. But, well, you'll see.
I'll see.
Yeah. So I tried to figure out where I wanted all the yellow first, all at the same time, and smush it where I want it to be, so that it would be blended the way I wanted it to be on the next layer underneath it when I did the other colors.
All right.
And this is a technique I like to use, because that way it's just one thing at a time, and everything else blends kind of automatically the way I'm going for the blending, that specific style of it. So.
All right.
And there's his purple bruise heart, and going up into his neck, down his stomach. And there's some green. He's got like 3 greens total, I think, by the time I'm done with
That's
him.
a good green. That is a good, icky green.
Thank you. And I did wind up using a bunch of different greens because I realized his arms are so close together. Like, his silhouette isn't clear enough if I made it all the same green.
No, you need a good silhouette.
Yeah. So I had to mix it up a little bit. So here's the one green. The not quite avocado green. What is this green? It's a very 60s...
Baby snot.
You know what I mean? Like, the mustard yellow and this green, I think, are very 60s colors.
Late 60s, early 70s.
Yeah.
Baby snot.
Sure, there's a better name for it. But yeah. And then this green, which has a little bit of blue in it. It's actually very colorful.
It is.
But also kind of
He's like a little Christmas light.
Yeah. Yeah. And I did wind up shading with some red. You'll see.
I think the different greens really do help it's the Bugs Bunny problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had to have gloves so that the different parts stuck out properly.
Exactly. And yeah, he's basically getting gloves right now. And then there's another green. That's also for the legs. Because in my brain that makes sense, because they're all limbs.
Yeah.
And if I had done, like, clipping all the color to, like, if I had highlighted everything around him and then made it just highlight him inside the lines, I could have done a color and then had everything clipped to it, but I didn't, which meant I had to go back in and erase all the little bits outside of where I wanted.
Yeah.
But it's fine.
Doing spider legs, the hardest part is figuring out what part is leg and what part is actually supposed to be erased. Yes. I'm always double checking because I have messed that up so many times.
Same. It's what you get for wanting toothy, leggy things.
Yeah. Drawing a lot of monsters.
Yeah. He's just happy to be here, you know? Look at him.
He's just happy to ruin Christmas.
Yeah.
Why would you? That is his Christmas. It's ruining your Christmas.
Exactly.
And the real racism is not letting him.
Well, there is that one short. Is it a short? I think it was a short. It was an animated feature thing. Feature?
That's not the Grinch Stole Christmas.
No. There was a prequel that happened years after that. There was Halloween is Grinch Night. And
we watched that once.
And I loved it. And I don't know if most people have ever heard of it. But Halloween is Grinch Night, where he's much worse.
I don't think that's in the cultural umwelt
at all. But he's much worse in that one because, like, a kid is just trying to go to the bathroom at night, and he only has an outhouse, so he has to go outside during Grinch Night. And, like, at that point, I would just poop in a bucket. You know what I mean? I wouldn't
Clean
risk it.
in the morning.
I wouldn't risk it.
It's everyone's life.
You know? But, no, he is much worse in that one. And I do love that one. So if anyone in the audience can find it might be on YouTube, I don't know. Halloween is Grinch Night. And I know there's been some question about, like, well, maybe he just reverted back, but no, I think it's a prequel.
It should be a prequel.
I think it's supposed to be a prequel. I think it's not that his heart shrank back down. I think it was before the beginning of the heart.
Are we going to talk about how there are people now who reference Jim Carrey's Grinch as the one from their childhood?
That's upsetting, but it's true. And I like that one. I like that he had, like, this whole backstory, and he got kind of a happy ending in a different way. He didn't have to be alone. And the one Who lady was hot.
Well, yeah.
So, you know, good for him.
Oh, is that Max?
That's Max.
Oh.
My logic was, the Who's are tiny. Like, you need a magnifying glass to look at them. So what they consider a dog might be like a little slug thing, or might be like a single-celled organism. I don't know. Like...
So the Grinch is a tardigrade in your...
Maybe. I don't know. He's something buggy. And so, yeah.
People of the Horton Hears a Who. They were very small.
That's what I'm saying.
You think it's the same Who's?
Logically, they're still called Who's. It's Whoville. It was also Whoville.
But maybe Who's come in all different sizes.
Maybe? I don't know. I always assumed it was also the same Who's. That was the assumption I had throughout my entire life, is it's the same Who's.
I'm down for it.
Like, I'm sure, you know, Seuss was more creative than that, but, like, at the same time, maybe the point was that it was all the same Who's. Like, everything of mine happens in Cornsbrook, you know?
Yeah.
It's all the same madness town. So here's my Grinch.
That is lovely.
My Grinch and Max.
Look at him, coming to ruin your Christmas.
He's just so happy.
I like Max.
I want to make a plush of Max. With his antlers that are just also his head.
Yeah. So, Grinch just squished him out into antlers.
Yeah, just... So rock on.
Rock on.
Merry Christmas.